What's happening, y'all? So I put together this little sheet for you guys. I think would be real beneficial. It's for the person who seriously wants to know how to read and study the Bible, and really any piece of literature at all. So this right here is my outline of how to do honest exegesis. And I say honest exegesis because if you're not doing these things, then you're not being honest with the text. You are literally violating 2 Peter 1 and 20. Yeah, coming up with your own interpretation, we don't want to do that. Anyways, the purpose of exegesis is to discover the original intended meaning of the text. And to do that, you have to ask two questions. Who is the author and who is the audience? The author had an intended meaning to the audience. Even though we are Christians, we're not the original audience. When dealing with the New Testament, we're talking about first century authors writing to a first century audience. So we have to approach these things in that context. Next, we have to recognize the literary genres, the Gospels, pericopes, narratives, teachings. The Gospels are an account of Jesus' life and ministry leading up to his crucifixion. If you want to know what Jesus taught, the things that he said and the things that he did, you would read the Gospels. Next, we have the epistles, paragraphs of argument or exhortation. Typically, these are letters written to churches and or Christians, individual Christians, addressing an issue they were dealing with or were facing or whatever, and an exhortation regarding their current circumstances. We have the book of Acts, smaller narratives and speeches. It's a historical account of how the church began to grow after Jesus' ascension. Again, dealing with things that happened in the first century. And then we have the book of Revelation, which is an apocalyptic vision. In the same way parts of Daniel was, and the same way the book of Ezekiel is. Now, these are the exegetical questions we must ask as we read the text. First, content. What is being said? We're utilizing textual criticism, looking at the actual wording, what was actually said. Then the lexical data, that is the meaning of words. That's why you should use a lexicon in a dictionary, not just a concordance. Grammatical data, the relationship of words with one another. And then historical, cultural background, words being used within their culture. And then we have the context. Why is it being said? And to do that, you'll need to use secondary sources, commentaries, historical books, scholarly papers, or academic papers. Like if you really want to study the book, this is how you do it honestly. Have a nice day, y'all.